So I know that we discussed a few of the names last episode. Somebody asked us about a certain Dallas Star. I think we've brought up Rossi a few times over the past few episodes, but I feel like this is a good time to kind of discuss how, while sure, they're in the Rossi conversation supposedly, you have three prime players here in Marco Rossi, who scored 60 points for the Minnesota Wild last year, playing in their top six, filling in for, like Joel Eriksson Ek was out for a large part of that season and really helping that team continue to win games despite being bombarded by injuries. But more specifically, you are going to have Mitch Marner hit the free agent market. And something that we've theorized and we tossed around last episode, especially since they were just eliminated, Jason Robertson might be a cap casualty for the Dallas Stars. Do you want to know what all three of those players have in common?
They're all going to be wearing the blue and gold next year.
Very close. Nothing is stopping them from that happening. There's no trade protection. There's nothing preventing the Sabres from being involved in these discussions. And yeah, Rossi, the Sabres have only been loosely tied to. And radio silence still to this point, not even a mention of anything with Mitch Marner and Jason Robertson. The only teams that got thrown into the mix today were by Jeff Merrick, and it was the Anaheim Ducks and the Ottawa Senators.
Ugh, the Ottawa Senators, swear to God. Better not be them.
But yeah, I mean, these are, if you want to make a big move this offseason, it's one of those three players pretty much. I mean, there's probably...
So far, there's still talk of... There's still talk. Elias Pettersson, man.
That is true.
Still hope.
That is
still
true.
Hope.
There is still hope. The fact that his name is being thrown around again, does get me going. Like there's another name out there, one that we were wholeheartedly convinced on not less than 6 months ago.
I think there's a certain Josh Norris sitting in his slot right now, and he's just not going anywhere.
Like that's gonna be the thing, right? I saw somebody on Sabres Tour today was like, yeah, like they probably should have waited to trade Dylan Cousins, and it's like looking back, like yeah, they probably should have. They probably should have waited. We were so goddamn desperate for a move back at the deadline.
Mm-hmm.
And it's, I don't know, like Josh Norris, I still have hope for the player. I think it can still work. It's just if they are satisfied with that and they are not willing to parlay that into a better return, like the Vancouver Canucks were very clearly interested in Josh Norris at one point, and with Pettersson still being available, I don't know, kind of seems like there's a trade to be made there. I think the conversations, this team went a whole 2 months without Josh Norris last year and were able to get by. I just don't think there should be any loyalty to him, really.
I have none. I always forget he was on the team to begin with.
He played 3 games. He played 3 games, had 2 points in 3 games. But yeah, I think like if they are satisfied with Josh Norris as the big forward addition to this group, if he's the big change, God forbid, if we go into training camp and Kevin Adams is like, Josh Norris is our offseason addition because he only played 3 games for us last year. It's like it's like how every team, or it's how like a team every year at the trade deadline is like, we have a bunch of trade deadline additions coming, and it's all guys on our LTIR right now. Yep. It's like nobody ever in the history of ever wants to hear that.
Don't speak that into existence,
I was gonna say,
please, because
bring that up.
This situation can't happen again. And I say again at GM Kevin Adams being satisfied with being below average. Well, and I know you can make the excuse, oh, Josh Norris didn't play a lot and he could be good. It's like, do you understand, like, Josh Norris right now? Like, do you understand the concept that he is still kind of a mystery box, and you could parlay that mystery box into the boat that's in Vancouver, or the boat that's sitting in, I don't know if you call it, maybe like a small, like a fishing boat sitting in Minnesota. Like anything. He's injured all the time. It's like, why are you not more worried about this? You should be looking for sustainability.
Well, it's more so like if you have capital to spend, like the fact, like we just had, people are going to gloss over it because there's so much to go over in that Fairburn article. But he laid out what he thought the key needs of the team were. puck management, team defense, special teams. Puck management and team defense, they basically go together. Like, you're looking for more defensively capable players, which is part of the reason why they got Josh Norris, which I understood. But it's two defensively oriented strategies to try to integrate into the team. And then you have special teams, which, I mean, yes, they've added players to fix that. Looking at you, Josh Norris, he's on the team because he scores goals on the power play. None of those, he did not say. He didn't say, playmaking. He didn't say play creating. He didn't say, nothing was forward based. Nothing. And just from the early onset, it just kind of seems like they're not going to do anything with the forward group. Not major, like not be one of the prime, if we want Mitch Marner bad. At the end of the day, we just want to know that they tabled an offer.
Mm-hmm.
And with Jason Robertson, if somebody gives a better offer and we look at that and say shit, that was a ton.
It's the name of the business.
And
it's how it works. You're not going to make every trade.
It sucks, and I know we get on Adams for that, but we get on Adams when he says things were close. We get mad when he says it. But I didn't get mad when they swung and missed on Jacob Chikrin because I knew they tabled the same exact offer as Ottawa, just with more pick protections, which guess what? Doing that got them Zach Benson. It's I don't need them to I don't need them to go and get a superstar in Robertson or in Marner. I would really like them to, because I think at the end of the day, when this team wants to compete for cups, they're going to need one. And now you have two that you are not Jason Robertson is available for trade. Nothing is stopping you here. And most teams can't just throw $7.75 million onto their roster. And the ones that can the ones that want to probably have to move out pieces on their team to do so, as in move out salary. And that's something that Dallas wouldn't want to do. We've discussed with Robertson, Zach Benson would probably have to be the main piece. Or if Dallas wants a center, maybe they would want Yuri Kulik. They would want NHL ready, top end, or a high end player on a rookie deal, or on a lesser deal. That's what it would take. And you had a 20-year-old and a 19-year-old playing on your top line at the end of their season. Is that a good thing? Probably not. But it also wasn't totally undeserved. It's when you see Robertson, there's just such an obvious fit as a trade partner there. Mm-hmm. And it's kind of the same thing with someone like Elias Pettersson, as we were saying.
I just hope that he understands how the offseason going into the 2023-24 season went, with him just going, we just got to make a couple defensive ads and we're good to go. We don't need to look at anything else. It's dude, you should be looking to improve every single aspect of this roster 24/7. Forward group, defensive core, goalies, coaching staff, find a new owner. I don't know. Either way, if big names are out there, you need to be in all of these conversations, even if you really don't intend on, making. You don't need to take the offer to to the finish line and then drop the ball there. It's you could at least do more of a due diligence work. It's I don't want to hear my GM talking about. It's we don't need to focus on our forward group. We just need to work on our defense, this and this. It's everything needs to be on the table, man, all the time. You just have to understand that this is a business that moves very quickly. In the last 5 years, this organization has moved like a snail, and it's why they've been getting passed in rebuilds. They don't do enough. And I'm not saying to Tim Murray this whole thing, but just show a pulse in the front office more than once or twice a year.
And I think what legitimizes most of these ideas for me, this doesn't really apply to the Robertson trade because they're not looking to take on guys who are due a contract, but we have players that are rumored to be out there or who are at the top of, NHL Insider's trade list. We have J.J. Peterka out there who's being talked about all over, and other fan bases drool over him, which I get it. He's a great player. You also have Bowen Byram, too. There's two players that Byram is probably not a Sabre next year, almost no matter what. He's probably gone. He's probably involved in some sort of trade. Peterka, there's might be a 50-50 chance. You don't know, but it's if you want to make a big move, you have those two guys too. I know Jonah just mentioned Benson and Kulik. If we wanted to make a trade with Dallas, it's even like the Minnesota trade, it doesn't seem like they're asking for so much for Rossi. Like,
No,
it
it
seems
was.
like you give him 9 and Quinn, like they'll take it. Like they were asking for like a late first, I think.
Yeah, it was a late first, and then Tyson Forrester, who's he's hit 20 goals a couple times in the NHL. So I'm trying to think of like a Sabres comparable. I mean, it probably would be. I guess it would sort of be Quinn-ish. Like it would kind of be Quinn.
But then you got the first round pick that's higher.
You would have
you
to
got
up,
the 9th.
Yeah, you would just have to up the first.
Yeah, which is fine. I mean, I still think that's like a steal for Rossi. I mean, you have to pay him, and it's rumored he's asking for a 7x7, might be a little higher, but I just feel like you have the ammo to do something. You have a first round pick. You have Byram. You have Paterko. You have other young players. Like,
So there needs to be change.
yeah,
We're just hungry for this. Just there's better players out there, and I understand wanting to be an organization that crafts their young draft talent and molds them into their own, but it's just not how it works all the time. You're not gonna bat 1,000 with all your prospects being in your lineup, and I feel like for the past 4 years they've just been hoarding these guys to the point where it's like we draft Osland and Kulik and Savoy 3 years ago. You got your trade value out of Savoy. Great job. You got a Ryan McLeod, which is great. You should be doing more of that. Yuri Kulik is on your roster now, and was playing you first line center. If you look at Noah Osland now, it's like he's in his D3 year. He's got no value anymore. If you would have maybe flipped him a year or two ago, you could have gotten more out of him. It's like a car. It's depreciating as we speak. You got to move, especially if there's no spots in the lineup for these guys. What are you going to do? You're just going to let them depreciate until they go back to Europe?
Well, and jumping back to Marner, for example. Well, actually, Marner and Robertson. What was one of the two teams that was rumored to be a team to watch for Jason Robertson? Well, it was the Anaheim Ducks. And who was supposedly getting a really big offer ready for Mitch Marner? Well, it's supposedly the Anaheim Ducks. And I'll put this in perspective for you. This past season, the Anaheim Ducks, according to Spot Track, had the 10th most amount of cap space in hockey this season. They had $5 million through the whole way. Last year, they had the most cap space in the NHL. $13 million open. 22-23, third most. $10 million open in cap space the whole season. 21-22, the only team with more cap space than the Sabres with $21 million open. And then in 2021, it was the first year where they were like, they were 19th. They had zero money to spend. So basically, in the 4 years post-COVID season, the Anaheim Ducks have been a cheaper team than the Buffalo Sabres. They have spent less money than you, and it's probably been given less coverage just because they're a West Coast team, and it's not like here, whatever. But that team has been cheaper than you, and they're in on this conversation. They know it's time to win. They're sick of the losing. They obviously just hiring Joe Quenneville is a very bold move. And now they're in on Robertson's, are a team to watch for Robertson, and they're legitimately getting an offer together for Mitch Marner. So, no excuse like why you can't be right alongside them.
Absolutely. I'm sure there'll be other names that will come out. Like, even, I know people are kind of more just throwing around the idea, but Noah Dobson, like, check in on him if he's, available. Like, there's going to be other names. If they really just want to focus more on defense, maybe, find your fit there. But there's names out there. There's no excuse not to be at least involved in these conversations and to not make a big offer on at least like one of these guys, because they all can fit here. They all, pretty much all the four players we just mentioned, the four forwards, all have two-way capabilities. Other than Robinson's more of a scorer, but the other ones, all playmakers, like what we need. Like, it's just no excuse not to be involved in some of this.
And I think it's fair to bring up the point that usually they do kind of operate in the shadows. Like Taylor Hall, for example, there was no inkling that was going to happen. We didn't even know if the Sabres were going to make an offer. Honestly, it kind of made sense that they wouldn't, considering they had just signed Jeff Skinner like the previous year. But they still did it, and that came out of nowhere. And same thing with with Jarmo Kekalainen. Like, nobody thought the Blue Jackets were even going to put in a bid, and Johnny Gaudreau signs. Not only does he sign in Columbus, he signs for way under what he could have got. So, look, I get it. Things come out of nowhere. The Ryan McLeod trade came out of nowhere. Oftentimes, the guy that the Sabres end up trading for, it's someone that are acquiring. You never see it coming, and there's no whispers of it. It's not too often where it's like the Casey Middlestat trade, where it was like, okay, like, yeah, they're probably trading for Bowen Byram here.
Yeah.
If you're really reading between the lines.
Even Norris. I mean, we knew Cousins was probably going, but no one knew Norris.
Nobody thought. I mean, I think Ottawa was brought up maybe like in a fourth period article as being interested, but that's basically just throwing things at the wall and seeing what sticks. I mean, no notable insider talked about those two being swapped. So this team does like to surprise you. So you know what?
Oh, they surprise you, all right.
We'll see. The offseason hasn't even started yet. We're already bitching and complaining about things that they're not doing when it's impossible to do anything right. I mean, it's not. You can trade for Jason Robinson right now. Nothing's stopping you. But things are not going to pick up for another 3 weeks. But hey, we're down to 3 weeks. It's draft month.
Almost there. We just got to get through this last series and get to the draft. Once we hit the draft, hopefully things pick up.